let's continue on with Moon. Moon is interesting, and now it occurs to me because I was thinking that Bardo is, because I've been thinking that we go to different planets when we dream. Yeah, I think I used to think that Rahu was the location of Bardo, so we go to different planets when we dream. I was thinking that we went to the planet of Rahu. Basically, Vedically, he's understood to be a giant head in the sky, and but this caused some sort of like, I was wondering about this because if literally the planet is a head in the sky, then is the maze of Bardo inside the head? Like, does he open his mouth and suck in the souls from that are hanging around, astral projecting, and as they're dreaming? That's kind of weird, and it doesn't really sit right with me in the sense that it doesn't sound accurate. Yeah, I'll bet you it's the moon, because I'm always dreaming in Bardo, and it sounds like most people are, and because moon is illusion as well.
Control time bombs to destroy the internal systems.
It's his toy. So, I think it's the moon that we go to. That's Bardo, and then I think after, and that's where we mostly dream. But through different yogic practices, we can upgrade to go to Mercury or Venus or the Sun. I've only been to Mercury and the Sun in my dreams, so this is a new way to look at it. That's good. Yeah. So the moon is very much this energy of illusion. Some people I've seen written in some like forums and stuff that it's like delusion, especially from the Vedic standpoint. I think the word illusion is a little better than delusion in this case. It's the malleable nature of consciousness itself. Like, you think one thing, but the act of thinking something is actually morphing it. It's turning it into something else. But the moon can also give great insight. Moon's also comfort. This is one thing that's interesting to me, is how the planets are all facets of consciousness, while also being powers, gods that can bestow things to us, to the basically the magicians, to the devotees and magicians. I think being a magician is a little bit, in most cases, higher than being a devotee, because in a way you're being a devotee, but you're satisfying the point of being a devotee while being kind of like your own person. And there's some, religious argument against this sort of thinking that, that's being a magician, appeasing like gods and things like that, to get temporary power on Earth is heinous or something. I would say there's no reality except the reality that's before us. Some of that reality we can't see, but even so, the reality is before us. It's not, it's not some impossible thing which we can't touch, that is totally beyond the reach of even the highest in this lifetime. It's something that the rich and powerful, or anyone, can have access to, but I think especially elite culture is the culture of getting into this stuff of if such people aren't magicians themselves, they hire magicians. Like, even publicly now, it's known that big tycoons and whatnot will hire like astrologers and stuff. I heard some talk a while ago that like the CIA, okay, they have MK Ultra and stuff like that for astral projection and things, but I heard some talk as if there's some group that basically they pay to manifest like a particular future. So I thought that was really interesting. Anyways, the planets are really relevant to this thing because planetary magic is like where you start to see those more immediate gains. Also, as far as the moon, I think the moon's interesting because it's sort of, the moon's this planet that it's sort of like the identity of the sun, but it's sort of inverted, or it's a bit of a darker identity. It's also very intrinsic to existence, but in a different way than the sun. It almost has like it's mind, but it's sort of consciousness rather than like intellect as Mercury is. But it's similar to Mercury in the way that it alchemizes, and it's similar to Venus in the way that it manifests. So I'm not exactly sure what the full, what the most comprehensive description of the moon, what its powers are and everything. I don't know what the most comprehensive way to describe it is, in short. But it has a lot of facets. I've also had a feeling that the moon, focusing a lot of my spirituality on the moon, has been a little bit like a Mario world shortcut of like world canon shortcut of jumping straight to Saturn. I felt that I was focusing on the moon and then I was led to Saturn. So I think it's like, perhaps it's like everyone goes through the moon, everyone goes through Bardo, but after Bardo, you will go on to the sun, you'll go on to Mercury, but if you traverse Bardo correctly, you'll go to Saturn instead. So, my spirits have been basically impressing this upon me through imagery, basically they've been telling it to me more visually, and it's the way my spiritual journey went, so I thought that was very interesting. I don't know if that works going downwards, though. I don't know if then Saturn is also a portal to Moon. But it's also very interesting because in some UFO lore, especially Inter Christos, the Inter Christos people talk like Saturn and Moon is this villainous system that's been set up by, the Anunnaki or something. I don't like the way they use the word Anunnaki. I think it's just straight up wrong. But I think they are right about some things, and perhaps this is one of them. Still, maybe I'm one of the bad guys because I like Moon and Saturn. And then, of course, through Malkuth. Malkuth is the realized, manifested, physical world. So, yeah. Perhaps mind is, perhaps Moon is the mental vehicle, the mental self that navigates the rest of the Sephirot. Thinking about it for a moment, it's interesting because I've always found that I always thought Bardo was on Saturn. That was the sense I got, or rather, there's like a misty Bardo that I thought was Rahu, but I think now is the Moon. And then I saw, when I would look at Saturn through astral projection, it looked very similar. It was just much darker, but it wasn't foggy like that. You could see, basically. So I bet the maze just goes in between, perhaps very fluidly. Like you go through one hallway and you're in Saturn, and then you go down some stairwell and you're back on the Moon. They're very connected. This also explains how through the mind one can traverse the entire Sephirot with ease. I bet the Inner Christos people are onto something about the Saturn-Moon connection. Now, does that mean it's a negative thing? I don't know. I think they're a little bit negative about, you know, the situation of the Earth. Certainly there's some bad turns going on down here, but the way it's explained by the Inner Christos people is borders on silly some of the time.